Ready? Yeah. Oh. Last lecture we talked about corrections. And why we're talking about that? Because the Rambam says that for a person to get into the Torah, he has to first of all correct himself with the traits that he has. And we gave some examples of how our wives help us to correct ourselves, our kids help us to correct ourselves. And all these corrections are made as a preparation of learning Torah. Especially if we're going to start going into deeper things. So at least while every Wednesday that I'm coming here, maybe during the week, we'll start a little bit think about how to correct ourselves. Because it's very, very preliminary to any study of Torah. I'm talking about myself, yeah? It's just not about everybody, B'ezrat Hashem. Okay. We'll continue today also talking about this with a different perspective a little bit. The Kabbalah says, the Zohar says, that there is 10 Sfirot that are running this world. The Kadosh Baruch Hu runs the world through these 10 Sfirot. What are the 10 Sfirot? Chokhmah, which is over here in ours. Bina is over here. Da'at, over here. We put the tefillin, the kesher of the tefillin is on the Da'at. Then we have Chesed over here. Gvura here. Tiferet here, the chest. Netzach, right leg. Hod, left leg. Yesod. Thank you very much.
Okay, can you just repeat where was Chesed on the right?
Chesed, the right arm.
The right arm.
Yeah. These are the locations of the 10 Sfirot in us. Chokhmah, Bina, V'Dat. Chokhmah, Bina, V'Dat. We almost don't deal with them in this world because they are very, very hidden. Yeah? What we see in the world constantly, every second, is the Chesed, the power of giving, the Gvura, the power of taking, and the Tiferet, the balance between the two. Our forefathers are the chariots to these Sfirot. For example, the person, our father that brought Chesed to the world, and he became the chariot for this Sfira, is Avraham Avinu. Yeah? Avraham Avinu brought Chesed to the world. Before there was Avraham Avinu, the world was in a very, very Ra state. Ra, what does Ra mean? Ratzon Atzmi. Abbreviation of Ratzon Atzmi. The Hebrew word for bad is Ra. Ra is abbreviation Ratzon, will, Atzmi. Only ego, only me. That's all I see is me. I want to take everything just for me and no chesed at all. These were the generations before Avraham Avinu came. Avraham Avinu came and saw that the world is all chesed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is just giving us air, giving us money, giving us health, wealth. Every second is chesed. And he understood that that's the chariot that's holding this world. And he became the chariot of chesed. But like we said last week in the first lecture, anything that's too extreme, unbalanced, needs a correction. Let's see. Avraham Avinu was a big giver. All his life was just giving. He had 12 gates in his house. People were coming in all the time. Guests. He was bringing Hashem up brought the Hashem to this world, like they say. But he was a giver without limits. And that's why Ishmael came to the world. Because it says that Ishmael, there's a chesed from the holy side, then the chesed from the bad side. Yeah? From the evil side. Ishmael was chesed from the evil side. Avraham Avinu chesed from the holy side. If you have a son and you don't give him limits, this son becomes spoiled and then he turns against you. Why? Because this is like, in the American culture, it's a very common thing to see this. A father thinks that he loves his son, so the son says, Dad, I want a bicycle. Bicycle, for sure, here's a bicycle. Car, I want to go here, go. Everything is yes, 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 yes. What do you think is going to happen with this kid? He's going to be a spoiled kid and he will have no limits because nobody gave him limits. His father never limited for anything. And that kid will hate, it says in Torah, he will hate his father to that point. Why? Because if a person wants to get, he wants to earn what he gets. Even though he's lazy and says, no, give me matanot, give me gifts, I don't want to do anything, but no. He really wants to, when the money comes, he loves the money that he earned, that he worked for it. And if the father doesn't give the kid a chance to earn everything that he gets, he hates the father. So we have Avraham Avinu, who had Ishmael, and Ishmael was without any limits. That's why he became Pere Adam. The Torah says he became Pere Adam. What's Pere Adam? Like a wild animal. He had no limits. So what was the tikkun of Avraham Avinu? Gvura. He had Hashem to give a correction where he would have an experience where he has to limit himself, the power of a Gvura, to correct himself. What was the experience that Avraham had in Nisayon? Akedat Yitzchak. He took Yitzchak and he had to, chas v'shalom ki'ilu, slaughter his son. He had to limit his chesed to such an extreme that he would say he would slaughter his son and limit all his chesed. This is exactly against his nature. And that corrected him. And that we have the experience, every one of us has an experience in life that the Kadosh Baruch Hu wants him to, he gives him an experience that he goes against his nature. If somebody is too much chesed, he will have an experience of gvura. We'll talk about it later on. What's the color, and everything has a revelation in this world. What's the color of chesed in this world? White. Nachon. White is the color for chesed. Look, all the milk in the world, what's the basic food in the world? Milk. Nachon. Cows, human beings, women, babies. White. What's the color of white? What's the color of milk? White. Yeah? White has an intrinsic power of giving. How do you see it? For example, if a person wants to buy a car, they'll tell him, buy a white car. I say, why? Because they say in the summer it will stay cool. Why will the car stay cool in the summer? Because it's white. So what does it do? White only gives. And it doesn't absorb the rays of the sun even. Only giving. It's only giving. It doesn't absorb anything. So the car stays cool. That you see a revelation of the color white here. That's Avraham Avinu. And that's an experience that we always have in our lives. How much do we give? Every second we have a situation in our life. How much do we give? How much do we give to not only money? How much do we give of ourselves to all the people that surround us? I'm going into business. I have a partner. How much do I give him from myself? How much feelings of, how much spirituality from me I can give to him? How much do I go with love to love him? Do I have limit to love? Or I give it all the way? This happens all the time. The wife comes, money. So I say no? Do I say yes in this situation? Kid comes in, give me this, give me that, give me that. What do? Sometimes giving him ruins him. Sometimes giving him is a good thing to do. This give and take is every second. Every second we have this experience. And every second we have to think, do I do chesed, which is giving in this minute? Or is the gvura, which is stopping me, is really the chesed here? ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. Amen. The other sphira is gvura. Who is the chariot for gvura? Yitzchak Avinu. Pachad Yitzchak. Gvura is the power of saying no, limits. And we need that power, we need that sphira to live. Because we can't just go without any limits. For Yitzchak to have an experience of Avraham, his father, slaughtering him for Hashem, was nothing for him. It was not even a nisayon. You don't see anything here in the Torah that says there was a nisayon for him. He's telling his father, just fix my neck so you'll be in the right place, so you don't slaughter, you'll be like a trefa or something. It was nothing for him. Why? Because he had such a yirat shamayim, such gvura, that it was not an experience for him, not a challenge. But for Avraham Avinu, who was chesed, was a big correction to do that. What's the of gvura? What do you think? Red. You must be a painter already. No.
I don't.
Red. Look at something very, very interesting. The color red. If you go all over the world, Indians, I don't know, Eskimos, wherever it is, wherever you go in the world, you see the color red means stop. What's the color when you go to the lights, the way you drive? Red, stop. You want to see that something is danger? Red. They made according to statistics, people go to eat in restaurants, and if they go to a restaurant that's colored red, they will eat much more than if the restaurant was colored in green or blue. Why? Because the red, in an environment of red, is give me. That's and only me. Gvura. So steakhouses, you'll see, they have red. See, boxers, what do they eat? Raw meat. Yeah, they eat raw meat before they start, so it gives them the gvura, the cruelty even of boxing and challenging the other person. But that gvura, like anything else, if it goes to an extreme, it needs a correction. For example, Yitzchak Avinu had Esav. Esav was gvura from the evil side. Now, Esav has so much gvura from the evil side that all his life was slaughtering. Murder is the effect of gvura. Why? When a person only wants to himself, doesn't see anything else in life, doesn't have everybody's just working for me, they have to do whatever I want, and if they don't, I just annul them. That's murder. That's what happens with murder. Gvura. Esav was like that. That's why he was a murderer. So we see that giving too much needs a correction. Taking too much is also a correction. A father was all gvura. Everything is asur. No, you can't do that. Don't go there. Don't talk. Don't do. Don't do. Nobody can live with him. Not his wife, not his kids, because it's not balanced. It's all the time asur.
So what was Yitzchak's challenge?
Yitzchak's challenge was the chesed. He had his chesed in him. But I want to concentrate on each one. So, what's the balance? The balance is Yaakov. Tiferet. Yaakov. What's Tiferet? What do you think is the color of Tiferet? Say whatever you think.
Purple?
Huh? Zagos. The color of Tiferet is Yarok. Green. And you'll see how beautiful it all works out. And you see how the the depth of the Kabbalah, you can see it in front of you can see it in front in our lives. לפי רמ"ק, נכון, this is רמ"ק, right? Now, green. Green is the only, all the plants are green. The jungles are the ones that give life to this earth. Why? Because they have the power of taking and giving. Take a plant, he'll take carbon dioxide inside, which is all the poisonous air that's around, and he'll give oxygen during the day. Yeah? And that makes a balance for the whole world. We're living, Kilo Hashem brought this, the plants and everything. One of the reasons is to balance the world is plants that are green. And Tiferet is green. Now, when you have a balance like that, Tiferet, where the person knows when to give, how much to give, and he's balanced. His decisions are balanced. You'll know how to behave with wife, with kids, with business. Yeah? That's Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu. That's why we're not called Bnei Avraham. We're not called Bnei Yitzchak. We're called Bnei Yaakov. Who balances what? How can we balance ourselves? Torah. Torah balances us. There is mitzvot aseh, which is chesed, mitzvot lo ta'aseh, which is gvura. Yeah? And all the time, for example, how much money to give, even to tzedakah. How far to go with the wife, how far to go with the kid. Anything, the Torah balances out, but we have to learn it and to know how to think. That gives us da'at. What's da'at? Da'at is the brain over here where we put the kesher of tefillin that tells us what's good, what's bad. For example, a person can be very, very wise, have a lot of chokhmah. He can learn many, many things. That doesn't make him good. I'm sure Hitler was, Yimach Shemo v'zichro, was very smart. It's not a joke to go and conquer Europe and go to Egypt, and he wasn't even in the army. So he was smart, but he was very bad, very wicked. A person, a person who's in Torah, just learning, and he knows everything that's going on. You ask him where does it say in the Gemara, he'll tell you the page, everything else. Doesn't make him a tzaddik. It makes him chacham, but it doesn't mean he's tzaddik. Can be, he knows, he memorizes just like the computer memorizes, if he's not connected to Hashem. Now, where is the brain that tells us what's good and what's bad? Well, the mavdil ben kodesh lechol, that we do avdala, that's the da'at. The da'at has chasadim v'gvurot, takes from both brains, chokhmah v'bina, and it separates. It tells us, this is what you do for the good, but this is what Hashem says to do, and this stay away from it. Yeah. So the most important thing in a Jew is da'at. That's why the first, in the Shmona Esrei, the first Chonen Adam, da'at. That's why we've asked in the Shmona Esrei right away, da'at. Because we want to know what's good, what's bad. When a person doesn't learn Torah, the da'at is not in the right place, and bad is good, and good is bad, and it all mixes up, and he doesn't know which way to go. Yeah? Okay, so this is another tool that the Torah is giving us, like I told you in the last lecture about wives and kids. This is another tool that we can use very, very well once we reveal to ourselves that there is this chesed, this gvura, and there's experience of giving and not giving. We start thinking about it and ask, I always say that, ask a friend or a rabbi, really, a Talmid Chacham, in all situations almost, because we cannot solve our problems alone. That's number one rule. Adam lo ro'eh negiut atzmo. Because we're not objective. We have desires. And these desires are taking us to all over the place. And we think that we're thinking, but we're not thinking. It's desires that are taking us. That's why a rabbi that knows us, he can direct us and tell us where is the right path to go. Another tool that's very, very important, and mamash chaval that it's not being taught, is how do we function? How do we think? That's a basic question. How does a person think? What are machshavot? What are the things that are going on in me? When I'm thinking, where does it come from? All these thoughts that I have, the feelings that I have, yeah? Where does it? How do we work? How does the brain work? Where does all these things come from? So let's start, Bezrat Hashem. Every subject that I'm talking about, we can talk for hours about it, but I'm just giving you hefzekim, like just touching it. Okay. There's 4 worlds that are in this world. Atzilut, Beri'ah, Yetzirah, Asiyah. Asiyah is where we are. This is the world of doing. Asiyah. Above it is Yetzirah. It's above doing. Beri'ah above it. Atzilut is complete godliness. There's no chash v'lo, no Yetzirah, no nothing there. That's one. What we say, Shema Israel, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, is over there in Atzilut. We work like this. Before I tell you, I'll ask you, how do we think? Where do thoughts come from?
From a good yetzer and a bad yetzer.
From the good yetzer and bad yetzer, נכון?
חוכמה סתימה, צל החוכמה.
והחוכמה.
צל החוכמה,
צל
חוכמה סתימה.
So, okay. Whoa. You went very high. Nice. Very nice. Chokhmah stima, which is in a very high world where he's talking. Okay, Bezrat Hashem. Let me give you some tools, Bezrat Hashem, and me, of course. A person is made out of his ratzon. His will. Number 1 is will. The question, what do you want, is the most important question in the world. When we ask a kid and you see him all frustrated, crying and all that, what do we ask him? What do you want? What do you want? Number 1 question that Hashem asks us is, what do you want? Because the will is the point of where we start. For example, okay, I'll give you the 5 steps and we'll go into it. There's the will, first one, which is called Keter. That's a very high sphere. There's Machshava, thoughts after the will. There is Hirurim. Hirurim, I don't know how to say it in English. I always try to find a word for it. Hirurim is like the more detailed thoughts of how to do things. Yeah, let's put it this way. Will, machshava, thoughts. Tibur, talking. Okay. V'maaseh, doing. These are against Atzilut, Beri'ah, Yetzirah, Asiyah. What governs our thoughts? The will, for example. I want to make money. Yeah, I have my thing is to make money. Okay, so it starts like this. A person can sit and say, you look at a beautiful car, whatever it is. Yeah, I want to have a car like that. Yeah. Where do I start? Okay, let's start, open an office, go into real estate. This one told him to do this, this one told him to do that. He starts opening an office. Now the will already is transferred to thoughts. Yeah? His will is to make money. That takes him to thoughts. The thoughts are all directed to his will. Yeah? How to make money. So he starts thinking, okay, I'll take a secretary, I'll take the whole stuff. Then after that, his talk will be governed by his will. He'll be talking about money because that's where he's at. And the doing, the action, will be related again to his will, to make money. I want to serve Hashem, but I want to serve Hashem in all the power in all my strength. In all my strength. That's all I want in the world. I wish, Bezat Hashem, all of us. We want to get to a will that I don't want anything else in the world, just to be connected to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Yeah? A person says, that's what I want. But inside, that's his will. That will bring him to thinking of how to do it. He'll say, I have to think, I have to learn Torah. I have to go to yeshiva. I have to start caring less about all the exterior stuff, money, this, that, and that, because all I want to do, I want to be with Hashem. This is the most important thing in my life. His thoughts will gather him to that. All day long, he'll be wanting to go to yeshiva. All he wants to do is pray. All he will want to talk is people that talk Torah. And all he wants to do with actions is do mitzvot. Why? Because his will is to connect to Hashem. Mm-hmm. Now we have, for example, different wills. There is another situation where a person says, I want to be connected to Hashem, but it's nice to have also Olam Hazeh, which is, most of us are around there. Sorry?
It has to be in balance.
Yeah, but it has to be in balance, but sometimes the balance goes too far to one side, yeah? Olam Hazeh, of course, Olam Hazeh is very important. To make money is important. Why? If the will is to serve Hashem, you'll take this money and use it to holiness. Yeah? Masrot, tzedakot, giving to Tamid HaChachamim, having a nice house, yes. But the whole thing with the money goes around to my will to serve Hashem. So even the Olam Hazeh will be serving Hashem, which is what Yaakov is all about. He had son, he had bakar, he was a very wealthy man. But all his will is just to connect to Hashem. And all that was giving Kiddush Hashem, and all that was going, everything that he had was for Hashem. How do we see it? He didn't even want to use the money that was from Lavan. He took all the money, he didn't want it at all. Yeah? Because it came from a bad source. Because everything was connected to Hashem. His money was connected to Hashem. His kids, how to raise them, it's connected to Hashem. His wives, connected to everything. Israel, Yashar El. Everything, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Yashar, straight to Kadosh Baruch Hu. The problem is that where the will is split, it wants Hashem, and it wants Olam Hazeh. But the Olam Hazeh is not completely connected to Hashem, the way I want it, the way people want it. And now you have a conflict. Exactly. We have a conflict. We have a conflict. Ooh, we have a conflict too. Okay. I don't know where the time went. What happened?
I don't know. We just started.
Okay, I'm sorry. We'll do it Bezat Hashem next
We'll have
Wednesday.
to carry on later.
Hashem yishmor atkhem. Kol tov.
Thank you, Rav David. Thank you.